Hello and welcome back to Unlocking the Unseen. I am Nish, your host from the world of psychics, and I'm truly grateful to have you here with me today. If you've been on this journey with us so far, you know we have been gently peeling back the layers of the unseen world. Your intuition, the language of signs and synchronicity, and the quiet power that comes from listening deeply to yourself. And today, we arrive at one of my favorite tools for self discovery, clarity, and alignment: tarot. In our last episode, we explored the mysterious and beautiful ways the universe communicates with us. From repeating numbers and dreams to random encounters that feel too perfect to be chance. We discussed how the language of signs and synchronicities reveals hidden guidance. If you've been paying attention, you may have already noticed things showing up: a pattern, a symbol, a feeling. The deeper you listen, the more you begin to hear. Today, we go one layer deeper. Because what if you could sit across from a mirror that didn't show you just your reflection, but your energy, your path, your crossroads, and the potential that lives just ahead of you? That's what tarot can offer when it's done with care. What is tarot really? Let's begin here, because tarot is often misunderstood. Some think it's fortune telling, some believe it's mysterious, maybe even mystical or magical. And yes, it does carry mystery. It holds an ancient whisper. But more than that, tarot is a mirror for the soul. Tarot doesn't tell you what will happen as though your life is scripted and fixed. Instead, it reveals the energies that are currently in motion. It helps you see the patterns at play, the options available, and the likely outcomes depending on the choices you make. In other words, it helps you remember your own power. Now, something I want to talk about upfront, because I hear this all the time, is whether a tarot reading works if the reader and the seeker aren't in the same room. And I want to say this very clearly. Yes, it does. In fact, many of the most powerful, life-changing readings I've witnessed have happened over the phone. Energy doesn't need to travel through space in the same way physical bodies do. When a gifted reader tunes into your field, they don't need to be sitting across from you. They are listening to your energy, your questions, your emotions, and they are guided by intuition and the symbolic language of the cards. That's why phone readings, like the ones we offer through the world of psychics, are just as meaningful, if not more so. Because you're able to stay in your own sacred space and still receive powerful, insightful guidance. Let's walk through what actually happens when you receive a tarot reading. When you speak with a professional reader, the process begins with intention. You might come with a specific question, maybe about your relationship, career, spiritual path, or even a crossroads you are unsure about. Or you might just feel lost, and that's okay too. Your reader will tune into your energy. They may shuffle the cards with you in mind or ask you to focus quietly while they draw. And then something beautiful happens. A narrative emerges. The cards reflect what's alive in your energy field, what you're attracting, what's blocking you, what you are being invited to release or welcome in. And no two readings are ever the same because you are never in the same place energetically. Your reader isn't just interpreting symbols, they are reading the conversation between you and the universe. The cards are a visual language that helps bridge that communication. So, what can you expect during a tarot reading, especially if it's your first time? Remember, tarot operates on energy. Your energy, your questions, your openness, and the reader's ability to tune in. During a reading, here's what typically happens. You set an intention or ask a question. This anchors the session and helps direct the energy. The reader shuffles the cards while focusing on your energy. You may be invited to do the same if it's in person, but it's not necessary. The cards are drawn and laid out in a spread. The spread gives structure to the story. Each position in the spread has a meaning: past, present, future, subconscious, outcome, and so on. The reader interprets the cards. But remember, a good reader isn't just reading the cards. They are reading you, the energy between the cards, and the story unfolding beneath the surface. You may receive validation, you may receive unexpected insight, you may feel seen in a way you haven't in a long time, and sometimes the reading will simply echo what you already know deep inside, what you've been trying not to face, or what your soul has been whispering all along. So, how do you prepare for a reading to get the most out of it? Here are a few suggestions. Set a clear intention. What are you seeking clarity on? It could be a situation, a decision, a feeling, or a question you've been holding in your heart. Come with an open mind. The cards may not tell you what you want to hear, but they'll often tell you what you need to hear. Be ready to participate. You don't have to share everything with the reader, but the more honest you are with yourself during the session, the more you will receive. Create a quiet space. Even if the reading is remote, treat it like sacred time. Light a candle, close your eyes, breathe deeply, center yourself. What kind of questions should you ask during a reading? Great tarot readings begin with great questions. Avoid yes or no questions. They tend to shut the energy down. Instead, ask open-ended, expansive questions that invite guidance and depth. Here are some examples. What am I being asked to learn from this situation? What energy is influencing my relationship with X? What inner blocks are affecting my abundance? How can I move forward with clarity and confidence? What needs healing before I can receive love? The best readings aren't about getting exact answers. They are about deepening understanding and returning your power to you. As important as it is to know what to ask, it's equally helpful to know what not to ask. Here are a few examples of questions that often lead to disempowering or unclear readings. Will I get married next year? When will I meet my soulmate? Am I going to lose my job? These kinds of questions put all the power outside of you. They treat tarot like a fortune cookie instead of a sacred conversation. Instead, shift your question towards insight and guidance. That's where the magic lies. One of the most important parts of a tarot reading, perhaps the most important, is who you choose to read for you. This is a deeply personal and energetic experience. So you want to find someone you feel safe with. Someone who sees you, someone who doesn't impose answers, but opens space for clarity to rise. So how do you choose a reader? First, go with your intuition. The right reader will feel like resonance. You might not be able to explain it logically, but you will feel a pull, a calmness, or even a spark when you hear their voice or read their profile. Second, look for someone who empowers, not predicts. A good reader won't tell you that your fate is sealed or that there's only one way forward. They'll help you understand the landscape of your life, the options available, and the energies that are influencing you now. Third, read testimonials. What do other people say about their experience? Were they held with compassion? Did they feel truly seen and supported? At the World of Psychics, we make this part easy. We hand select our readers not only for their intuitive skill, but for their integrity. Every reader is someone I would trust with my own spiritual questions. Because I have. Now let's talk about the real power and the real boundaries of a tarot reading. Tarot can tell you what energies are present around you, what patterns are unfolding, what opportunities or lessons are arising. It can reflect your desires, your fears, and the parts of you that are ready to heal. It can even pick up on your energetic field, things that haven't happened yet but are forming. Subtle shifts, inner stirring, external ripples. A gifted reader can often sense what's on the horizon, especially if you're being energetically pulled in that direction. But what tarot won't do? It won't strip you of your power. It won't make decisions for you. It won't tell you what you must do or what will definitely happen without your participation. And thank goodness for that, Because the whole point of guidance is to help you come back to your own knowing. So, what happens after the reading ends? That's a sacred moment. The insight has arrived, the messages are with you, but integration is up to you. Here are few things I always recommend. 1. Reflect in a quiet space. After your reading, find time to sit with what was shared. You may want to journal, meditate, or simply let it settle. Let the meaning unfold over time. 2. Trust what resonated. You don't need to remember every card or message, but trust the ones that linger. The images, the phrases, the feelings. They are like seeds. They grow over time. 3. Take gentle action. If something felt clear, like a next step, a shift in perspective, or even letting go of something, honor it. Your growth unfolds with every choice you make. Let's go deeper now. Tarot is not just a one-time experience. It's a practice. When you receive readings regularly, not obsessively, but mindfully, you begin to track your soul's journey. You begin to notice the cycles, the shifts, the themes that rise and fall and rise again. You begin to see your life not as chaos, but as a living, breathing story. And the more conscious you become, the more empowered you are to shape that story. Some people use tarot for healing, some for decision making, some for spiritual growth, and some simply because it makes them feel seen. All of these are valid. We live in a time where we are more connected and more overwhelmed than ever. There's so much noise, so much pressure to figure it all out. Tarot and psychic guidance offer a moment of stillness, of clarity. They remind us that we are not alone, that we are connected to something deeper. At the World of Psychics, we don't just offer readings. We offer space. Space to hear yourself more clearly. Space to be witnessed. Space to heal. Our readers don't read at you. They read with you. They become mirrors, witnesses, and compassionate companions as you navigate the unknown. At this point, I would like to talk about some of the common myths about tarot. Let's clear the air. There are so many myths about tarot floating around, and they can actually prevent people from experiencing the deep wisdom it offers. So let's clear some of those up. Myth 1. Tarot predicts the future with 100% accuracy. No. Tarot reveals the most likely outcome based on your current energy and choices. It's like reading a weather forecast for your soul. You can shift the outcome by changing your direction. Myth 2. Only spiritual people should get readings. Also not true. Tarot is for everyone because it's about self-awareness, insight, and alignment. You don't need to have a spiritual practice to benefit from deeper clarity in your life. Myth 3. If you get a bad card, something terrible will happen. This is one of the most common fears, and it comes from misunderstanding. Every card, even ones like the Tower or Death, simply reflect change, transformation, or release. They aren't punishments, they are invitations to evolve. In fact, those so-called difficult cards are often the most powerful. They help us see what's ready to shift and what no longer serves us. Now let's talk about when to get a tarot reading. There is no right time to get a reading, but there are times when it can be especially powerful. When you are at a crossroads, when you feel lost or uncertain, when you are starting something new, when something ends, when you are healing from heartbreak, when you are spiritually curious, or when something in your soul just says, now. If you've been wondering if it's time to reach out for guidance, consider this as your sign. Tarot is a mirror, a conversation, a guide, but most of all, it's a reminder that you're connected, that your path is unfolding, and even when things feel unclear, you're always being guided. If this episode spoke to you and you feel ready to receive a reading, know that we are here. You can book a phone session with one of our trusted, hand-picked readers at theworldofpsychics.com. No matter where you are in the world, no matter what you're holding, you're not alone. In our next episode, we will explore the power of stillness, meditation and mindfulness for inner guidance. We'll talk about how slowing down isn't weakness, it's wisdom. And I'll guide you through a simple, grounding practice to connect with your inner voice. Until then, keep your heart open, your mind curious, and your soul listening.